Hey everyone. Yeah, Doug Ford is really going the full on authoritarian route these days, right? I guess the old saying really is true. If you don't want your life ruled over by central planning authorities, well, maybe, perhaps, you should stop pretending that giving other people the pretense of that kind of authority is going to work out well for you. Case in point, and example number 1 trillion or more, right? Headline of the Toronto Sun: many Ontario police services refuse to enforce Ford government's new random stop laws. It's reported by Anthony Fury, April 17th, 2021. So yeah, you're probably already well aware of the fact that Doug Ford, the Ontario government, Doug Ford, the conservative. Anyways, that's why I tell people all the time, like, whether it's the libs or the cons, they're both two wings of that same authoritarian bird. And believing that picking one side or the other is somehow going to be beneficial to you, once again, I can't help but point out that's never going to work out good for you. I get the whole point of picking the lesser of evils, and I've even fallen for that stuff in the past myself. But yeah, fool me once, right? Fool me twice. I mean, at this point in time, how many times you're going to be fooled, right? At some point in time, maybe stop being fooled. Maybe stop picking rulers, or at the very least, believing in them. Because it's stuff like this that actually happens and is a result and a consequence of giving these people authority over you and everyone else, all that. Or at least the pretense thereof, because yeah, I don't believe in Doug Ford being my ruler, nor do I believe any politician in this country has the kind of authority that the rest of my Canadian peers do believe in. That makes me an outlier, an exception, and a very, very tiny minority in this country. After the Ontario government announced Friday that they were giving police the power to randomly stop pedestrians and motorists on the streets, multiple police services have come forward saying they will not be making use of these new powers. Moving forward, police will have the authority to require any individual who is not in a place of residence to first provide their purpose for not being at home and provide their home address, Ontario Solicitor General Sylvia Jones said, adding this also means motor vehicles can be randomly pulled over. Jones put on a tough face when asked what would happen if Ontarians didn't go along with these requests. If you're not willing to comply, then you are breaking the law, and there is the option for the police officer to issue a ticket, Jones said. The new orders carry a $750 fine for a first offense. Now, first of all, these fines, once again, well, let me just deal with a couple things here. First and foremost is these fines, that's how it starts, as a fine. But what if you refuse to accept that fine, knowing that they're completely unconstitutional and should be illegal? And some of them who've actually gone through the courts, or at least got to the point of going through the courts, have been thrown out for such reasons. But I mean, and you've seen countless examples out there, thankfully, because everyone has a smartphone with video recording capabilities, how many examples of these order followers and these enforcers of the law of the state, how they'll escalate any confrontation or interaction with someone in the public who isn't conforming to these arbitrary orders, mandates, or edicts. You see how that can be escalated right up to the point where the fine will be the least of your worries, right? And another thing, let me point out, is just because there's a few police forces who are putting out some public relations campaign to try to soothe or alleviate your concerns, once again, I see lots of Canadians, even people, sadly, who I consider to be fellow liberty lovers and freedom fighters, who are basically now, well, the cops are coming out, or some of these police are coming out saying they're not going to enforce them. So yay, right? Once again, are you really that naive? Are you really that gullible enough to believe that even if one person, right, in charge, even if the chief comes out and says this thing, do you actually believe that the order followers and the enforcers of the state, that they're just going to stop doing their job in Canada? Really? Okay. But you watch how things unfold and you'll see that maybe your faith is unfounded at the very least. I mean, come on, even a broken clock can be right twice a day. Heck, even Hitler himself, maybe Stalin, Mao, I'm sure you could find examples where they did something good at some point in time in their life for somebody. Right? I'm sure some of the most authoritarian dictators in the world have been nice to some people in society. I'm quite certain of it, right? But does that mean that we should now try to pretend that these people are somehow benevolent? No, they are enforcers of the state. Their jobs, their incomes are based on force and forced income redistribution, extortion, or theft, whichever you want to choose, to identify the forceful redistribution of income and wealth to provide pay for the enforcers of the state. However, several police services across the province have since released statements to the effect that they will not be making use of these new powers. New emergency orders announced yesterday to help limit the spread of COVID-19 are now in effect, Toronto Police Services posted to social media Sunday morning. The TPS will continue to engage, educate, and enforce, but we will not be doing random stops of people or cars. The Ottawa Police Services stated in a news release, the OPS will not be conducting random stops. We will be taking a deliberate and careful approach that emphasizes equity, legality, and efficacy in the application of these authorities with the specific and exclusive purpose to support public health measures. So, I mean, there's two examples right there of the Ottawa Police Services and the Toronto Police Services, like I say, stepping out with a little PR campaign, because obviously, I mean, they need to step up the PR campaign, right? I mean, come on, there's too much video evidence out there, like I say, who have even turned conservatives. Yes, even some conservatives have turned against the enforcers of the state, right? Shocking, right? But this is the main reason. I assure you, that is the main reason why these police services are coming out now, is because they recognize the writing is on the wall, and less of the Canadian citizenry respect them at all. So once again, this is just political rhetoric, but nothing here that suggests that they're not still going to be mindless enforcers of the state. They're just going to do it in a different manner, a different way, right? They might not, what they're saying, randomly stop, but how would you know? It's already legal in this country, right? Laws have already been created where the cops can pull you over randomly without any basis or genuine reason or suspicion of a crime. I mean, I've reported on this stuff many times in the past, and it's like, come on, Canada, don't lose all those memories yet. Keep that stuff fresh and front and center, right? So you don't fall for stuff such as this. The enforcers of the state are going to continue to be enforcers of the state. Pretending or suggesting otherwise it's just wishful thinking on your behalf, and something akin, as some people are doing, to bootlicking. And yeah, gross. Not a fan of it. And when I see other people actually doing it, especially men, right, cozying up or attempting to lick the boots of their oppressors and these enforcers of the state, yeah, I got to tell you, it's shocking, it's disturbing, and something I hate to see. I can't stand seeing that kind of stuff, but unfortunately it does exist. I mean, we are in Canada, modern day Kanakistan, where blind conformity seems to rule the day. Anyways, folks, I'll place a link to this article in the description of the video. I'm moving on to the next one. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.